All right, let's jump right in. We're going to follow the amazing journey of this one single object, this really vibrant orange agate stone. I mean, it looks like just a simple gemstone, right? But believe me, its story is, well, it's anything but simple.
I mean, look at that color. That brilliant orange. It's so warm, it's energetic, and it just grabs your attention, doesn't it? But here's the thing, that color, it's really just the beginning of a much, much deeper story. A story about how we, as people, create value and meaning and even belief. So that really brings us to the big question, How does a simple stone like this get transformed by our hands, by our minds, to hold such different and sometimes even completely opposite kinds of power? That's the journey we're going to trace.
Okay, so where does our story begin? Well, it starts with the earth, as you'd probably guess. But the stone's journey into our world, that really kicks off the second it's touched by human hands. And that right there, that's its first big transformation.
So, take a look here. On the left, you've got its raw, kind of untamed potential, right? Straight from the ground. But then on the right, you see what happens when craftsmanship gets involved. Through all that cutting, polishing, and shaping, that raw element gets completely refined. It's given a new form, a smooth perfection. And now, it's ready for the next step. All right, so now that it's been shaped, let's look at the first major role this stone takes on. The polished agate, it's about to enter a world of quiet contemplation, of really deep spiritual meaning.
Just take in the atmosphere here for a second. Surrounded by candlelight, sacred texts, these orange beads,
They're not just pretty stones anymore, are they?
no way. Each one becomes this physical touch point for prayer, a counter for devotion. It's a tool to help focus the mind.
And this object, it has a specific name and a specific job. It's called a tasbih. See, in Islamic tradition, these beads help the faithful perform what's known as Dhikr, which is the act of remembering God, often by reciting his 99 names. That physical act, moving from one bead to the next, it actually helps ground the spiritual practice.
And that's really the key here. In this context, the value of the stone has nothing to do with what it's worth in dollars. It's all about its ability to connect our physical world with the metaphysical. It literally becomes a bridge, a conduit for faith.
Okay, but now let's do a complete 180. We're going to pivot to a totally different interpretation. The exact same orange stone can also be seen as a tool, but not for connecting to a higher power. Instead, it's for awakening a power that's already inside of us.
So, in a lot of wellness and spiritual practices, there's this belief that our body has these energy centers called chakras. And the second one, the sacral chakra, it's linked to our emotions, our passion, our creativity. And you guessed it, it resonates with one very specific color, orange.
And that's where the connection is made. The idea is that if you hold or wear this orange stone, it can help balance and unblock that sacral chakra. It can help promote emotional well-being, creative flow, all that good stuff. So here, the stone becomes a focus for our own personal internal energy.
All right, you ready for the third and final transformation? Because now we're moving from the internal world, faith and energy, to the very external world of fashion, status, and pure luxury. Just look at this. It's the exact same orange agate we've been talking about. But now it's set in polished gold, surrounded by sparkling diamonds. It's not a tool for prayer anymore. It's not a focus for energy. It's a statement piece. It's an emblem of wealth and, really sophisticated taste. And this just highlights the incredible contrast, right? On one hand, you've got spiritual value, that personal connection that's, impossible to put a price on. And on the other hand, you've got market value, which is totally determined by things like rarity, craftsmanship, and what other expensive stuff it's paired with.
So there you have it. 3 completely different worlds, all spinning around this one type of stone. So let's kind of pull all these threads together now and really think about what this whole journey means.
I mean, this picture really says it all, doesn't it? There's no conflict inside the stone itself. Agate is just agate. The difference is us. It's about what we need from it, whether that's a connection to something divine or just a beautiful way to decorate ourselves.
So that's been its journey. The very same piece of the earth has been used as an aid to prayer, a tool for personal energy, and a symbol of pure luxury. That's 4 totally distinct identities, and they're all projected onto this one single object.
And that brings us right back to our big question from the beginning. Now that you've seen these different worlds, what do you think? Where does the value really come from? Is it locked inside the stone itself, or is it in the story that we decide to attach to it?
You know, in the end, maybe that's all it really is. Just a beautiful, silent piece of the earth waiting patiently for us to come along and give it a role to play in our big human drama.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought for you. Think about an object you really cherish. Maybe it's a simple ring, a worn-out book, an old photograph, whatever it is. Where does its value truly come from? Is it the material it's made of? Or is it the story you've attached to it?